One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Welcome to the Stone Zone. While the Washington political establishment is literally melting down over President Donald Trump's appointment of Bill Pulte, the current head of the Federal Housing and Finance Administration, also the chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the two government mortgage agencies, to now serve as the Director of National Intelligence, stepping into the shoes of Tulsi Gabbard, the former four-term Congresswoman, former member of the House Intelligence Committee, who served in that position, now leaving because of a tragic health crisis regarding her husband. You see, the intelligence agencies like the CIA, the people who lied to us about the murder of President John F. Kennedy, the people who lied to us about the attack on the Tonkin Bay to justify the war in Vietnam, the people who lied about the Iraq having weapons of mass destruction to start a war there that killed tens of thousands of Americans and hundreds of thousands of Iraqis, based solely on a lie. The people who lied to us about the Russian collusion hoax and the idea that the Russians attempted to interfere in the 2026 elections. The same agency that lied to us about the origins of the COVID-19 virus. They're now deeply upset that having in some ways driven Tulsi Gabbard from office, although I think in her case she was under constant attack from the CIA because she declassified the Russia collusion documents, proving that Russia was a fraud. And she declassified the documents pertaining to the impeachment of Donald Trump. She proved that was a fraud too. And the three major witnesses involved, the cute little brothers who were in the, I guess they were in the army, the Vindman brothers, they were lying. The CIA operative posing as a whistleblower, Eric Cialamella, who's now been proven that he was lying. It was a constant attack on her. They really stepped up the attack on her when she was directed by the President of the United States to look into these electronic voting machines and whether they could be hacked, whether they were secure, and whether they had been hacked in the 2020 election. It's at that point that the respected journalist Catherine Herridge reported that Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, and her entire staff, including the working group studying the integrity of the elections that was directed it was formed at the direction of President Donald Trump, was being spied on by the Central Intelligence Agency. So there's a war going on between our intelligence agencies and some folks who want things covered up. I mean, after all, if you were using that electronic voting technology to rig foreign elections in states around the globe, would you like that exposed? I see where they're coming from. So instead of appointing some CIA simp, some stooge who would continue the cover-up, President Donald Trump appointed the Director of National Housing and the Chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Bill Pulte. Now, Bill Pulte is a very young, very smart, very tough, very capable guy. He built a huge fortune. Now, it's interesting. He is the scion of the famous Pulte home building family. He has, I believe, 14 brothers and sisters. But the way their father's will worked is that they did not get their $15 million inheritance until they first went out in the free market and made $15 million. So these people were not handed their wealth. They had to earn their wealth. Bill Pulte is one of the smartest financial analysts I know, and he's extraordinarily capable, and more importantly, he's extraordinarily loyal to President Donald J. Trump. There's still a number of things we don't know enough about. For example, the origins of the COVID-19 vaccination, how exactly that happened. Havana syndrome. This is when our embassy in Havana was hit with some kind of ray, some kind of electronic ray that made everyone there sick. CIA keeps telling you it was a coincidence. I think not. And then there is the big enchilada, that 1920 election. How is it that 881 million people voted for Joe Biden? How is it that more people voted in the state of Pennsylvania than are registered to vote? How is it that more people voted in the Orange County, California than are registered to vote, just as an example? How is it that 300,000 printed ballots that were supposedly mailed in but had never been folded in half and thus were never mailed popped in out of nowhere in Georgia, Detroit, and elsewhere, all at the same time? The American people want answers. There are some in our intelligence agencies and within the government who don't want answers. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard took away the security clearance of 37 holdovers from the Obama and Biden administration. It's amazing how many of them who signed the letter, and with 51 former or current intelligence officers claim that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. We now know today, thanks to the crusading reporting of the New York Post and my good friend, what's her name over there? Melinda Devine. We know far, far differently. Also, the great book put out by MarcoPolo.org will prove to you that is. So Miranda Devine nailed this for the New York Post, and we now know otherwise. But it's amazing to see people like Senator Tom Cotton of Arizona attacking the appointment of Pulte as unqualified. Let me put it this way. Bill Pulte and Senator Cotton should both take an IQ test. I know who would come out much, much higher. Tom Cotton actually thinks we should do away entirely with the Office of Defense Intelligence or National Intelligence, and that we should shift all of the declassification authority over to the CIA, which means you would never learn anything. Again, the same people who covered up the murder of John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King, the same people who died about the Tonkin Bay attack to start the war in Vietnam, the same people who have lied to us about UFOs for some long period of time. They wanted a stooge in there. They wanted a yes man. They wanted someone who would cover up for the deep state. They particularly didn't want anyone who would expose anything about the 3 attempted assassinations on the life of Donald Trump. Instead, they got an excellent appointment, someone tough, someone capable, someone untied to the mistakes of the past, and someone who's loyal to the President of the United States. So when you're watching TV tonight or tomorrow morning, when you see all these career politicians attacking Bill Pulte's appointment, saying that he's unqualified, take a good look at them. Most of them are unqualified to be in public office, in my opinion. Interestingly enough, being the ultimate political junkie, I've been watching the early primary results, which suggest that a Trump-backed Republican, Steve Hilton, is in a strong position to advance to November's runoff for governor. Now here, however, don't get your hopes too high. They have in California what's called the jungle primary system. That's in which they no longer have party primaries to choose their candidates, but every candidate of every party, or no party at all, runs in one major first-round election. That election has one real Republican, Steve Hilton. I think there's a minor county sheriff who's a Republican, but he's not much of a candidate. There are, however, multiple big-name Democrats in that race, and therefore the top 2 vote-getters, probably likely to be Hilton on the basis of his getting the Republican base, and one of the Democrats will then move to round 2. The problem is that in round 2, all of those Democrats are likely to coalesce around the Democrat candidate, and sadly, Democrats continue to be extraordinarily outnumbered in the Golden State. Hilton, the former Fox News host, campaigned on cutting regulations, lowering gas prices, fixing schools, cracking down on crime, and fighting fraud. His showing is notable in a state where Democrats have dominated statewide politics for years. He's doing extraordinarily well enough, I think, to make the runoff. The problem will come after the runoff when the Democrats presumably unite. The results also signal frustration with California's status quo after years of high costs, homelessness, drug addiction, crime concerns, wildfire failures, and one-party Democrat rule. I can't think of any other state, other than perhaps New York, that is ready to move away from one-party control. In the city of Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass, by the way, she says publicly her two political heroes are Mao Zedong and Fidel Castro, seems to be headed to a runoff after falling short of the 50% majority. You see, that works is in the first election. If anyone gets 50%, they are elected. If not, the two top vote getters, regardless of party, run. Now, in this particular case, I believe the governorship is not nonpartisan. Early results showed Bass, an incumbent, with just 34.8%, with outsider Republican Spencer Pratt at 30.4%. When you consider that the Republican registration in the city of Los Angeles is only about 18%, you see that Spencer Pratt is getting almost twice as many voters as there are registered Republicans. There's a third candidate in the race, Councilwoman Nithya Raman, and she is a candidate of the left. So the odds seem to be pretty good that those votes would shift to Bass in the runoff. But I will say this, that Spencer Pratt has put on an extraordinarily clever and spirited campaign. You see, he's just an average guy whose home was destroyed in the Palisade fire. He has run a law and order campaign using really clever and entertaining AI viral ads and attacks on City Hall's failures to do anything after the fire. He outraised Bass and posed the first serious challenge against far-left rule from Los Angeles in generations. The takeaways from these initial results is clear. Even in deep blue California, Trump-style outsider campaigns are breaking through. This shows why we must be competitive and run serious candidates everywhere. We cannot give up the battlefield anyplace. Candidates of common sense, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, need to get into this fight. Our country is too important to surrender. Well, the famous CBS News correspondent has been fired after a long tenure. 60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley after an explosive confrontation with the program's new leadership. Pelley was terminated Tuesday after clashing with the new executive producer, Nick Bilton. According to a memo reported by Puck, Bilton said Pelley's antipathy to the future of the show was clear and that CBS was ending his employment for cause. The firing reported following an all-staff meeting in which Pelley attacked Bilton's qualifications, attacked the boss, that's always smart, and accused CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss of murdering the program. CBS leadership has reportedly wanted Pelley to stay, but later accused him of rejecting any collaboration and creating a hostile work environment. Scott Pelley fired back, claiming new management was destroying 60 Minutes to curry favor with the Trump administration. Now, there's a joke. Scott Pelley, by the way, is not a journalist. He's a propagandist. He only produces those quote-unquote facts that fit his narrative. The shakeup follows other departures from 60 Minutes, including Sharon Alfonsi, Cecilia Vega, Tanya Simon, and, of course, Anderson Cooper himself. My old friend, my good friend over there at ABC, Sean Hannity, put it best. Journalism is dead in America. While liberals may be shedding crocodile tears over the loss of these establishment media liars, the rest of the public is pretty much applauding. Legacy outlets like 60 Minutes have jettisoned all credibility throughout the years by pushing their virulent anti-Trump narratives and selective outrage powered by elite groupthink. Now, as executives attempt to overhaul a failing culture, the same insiders cast censorship and blame President Trump. Pelle built a long career inside one of the most powerful media institutions in America. It's clear that he very thoughtfully thinks only of himself and not the accuracy of his reporting. I'm Roger Stone. You're listening to Stone Zone, and we'll be right back.